So Donald, you was telling me, not Donald, Mike, you was
Yes,
telling
sir.
me, right, that how is it that you want to see the puppies move in the front versus the back? You said the front is like elliptical, and
Yes.
go ahead, you break it down.
So on the front, whenever we're watching the dog's gait, what we're doing
Yeah.
is we're looking for that elliptical movement in the front, the rotation in the front, elliptical movement in the back like a bicycle.
Okay, like a bicycle, and that's
Yeah.
because we have. That's
Locomotive.
because we got three joints in the back. We got, I mean, not three joints. We got more joints in the back versus what we got in the front, correct?
More hinges. Yeah.
More hinges, yeah.
On hinges, correct. And that's exactly what this live is about, man. We're going to be talking about today. Is your dog front wheel drive, rear wheel drive, or is it a 4x4? Is it well balanced all the way through? Before we continue, I must say, Hollywood, have it ready, man, because we got Budget Warrior just became a new member. Number love for you.
Pues claro que sí, cabrón.
Pues claro que sí, cabrón. We're on here Mondays, 8 p.m. CST. Budget, ask any question, we're going to answer. No matter what, man. Number love for everybody else up in here. Guys,
Yo.
we're going to jump on topic.
Good
I
evening,
want you guys to drop the questions. Drop the questions you got. And we're going to be hitting it. So what you got, Hollywood?
Just so you know, they just upgraded to a mentorship. That way you understand. I'm just letting you know that.
Hey, that's all good. When you upgrade to a mentorship, Budget Warrior, not only do we answer your questions on the live, you get a 30-minute one-on-one FaceTime with me once every single month. Any questions you got, you text me. I don't care what time it is. We're going to make it happen for you, bro. So that's it, man. Tipping my hat to. That's it. Yeah. So listen, let me, Ghost Dog. Let me go through these guys real quick. Ghost Dog, we got Adam Fields. I like them all-wheel drive. You got it, man. What's up, folks? Oh, by the way, best question of the night, man. We're going to give you a free spin. We got the wheel ready. Just remind me at the end. We're talking, man. We're talking with Donald and Mike. Talk to me, Donald, Mike. What do you all see the most? Like, talk to me about time frames. Talk to me about pups. Do you even, if you see a pup, just an example, if you see a pup front wheel driving, right, at say 3 weeks, do you even take that into consideration, knowing that his development is all over the place? Like we were talking earlier, hips may not be there just now, but maybe in 4 weeks they may catch up, so on and so forth. So when do you start, like, what you see, you start taking it seriously, as in, I got to either exercise or move them or what? Talk to me.
I think getting them out into some sunshine, or getting on a big piece of carpet, rubber mat, something like that, and just let them, they're just learning, and some of the bigger bone dogs, they got more to move underneath them. So I wouldn't worry about anything, man. I kind of try to just look for the weather and situation, get them moving, and then try evaluating the litter as a whole at first, and see if one is standing out as to maybe need a little more. Maybe you take him. I know we have a long piece of gutter that has indoor outdoor carpeting in it. We'll try getting them some practice if they're having a tough time getting their
I love that idea, man. You guys that are watching, I'm telling you, Donald doesn't speak much, man, but he's like Yoda. Like when he lets it out, write it down. So you get yourself a piece of gutter. And what do you put at the bottom of a rug? I guess you cut out a piece of rug.
Like indoor outdoor carpet like you would have in a boat. My buddy Scott Savant brought the whole rig over. I was trying to do some stuff with some wood and some rubber mat. He brought that in, and it was just immediate fix. And just try to bait that dog down, down that little chute.
Do a workout.
This way you don't have any side winding. For those of you that don't know what side winding is the front is going this way, but the rear side winding. Wow.
I call it crab call.
Crab call. Yeah, but I love the idea, man. I can tell you, I've been doing this for a minute, just like you guys. It never occurred to me to get a piece of gutter and put some, you know, an indoor outdoor rug in it and have the dog walk through it. That's pretty amazing. Now, before we continue, hold up, I got Hollywood waving me down. What you got, Hollywood?
So, not to throw a monkey wrench in there, Donald.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. You're about to drop it.
What kind of gutter? Are you talking about K-style gutter, commercial box gutter? What size? 6 inch, 5 inch? What do y'all use?
It probably about, I would say, 5 inch gutter.
But just a regular residential gutter with the profile.
Residential gutter and
Got you.
you can't. What's that stuff called that Zach would sell?
Oh, rain gutter. I forgot what it was.
Yeah, you can't put the guard on it, you know.
Yeah, the guard.
All right. You don't want to talk on it, guys.
Everybody wants that.
Yeah, they want the
You want
guard.
the leaf shader.
No leaf
Yeah.
filter.
There you go, leaf filter. Leaf filter.
I got you. I just wanted to make sure because I know some people out there that do that kind of stuff like myself. I'm just curious on what y'all use. Did you just find an old piece from the house?
Yeah, it can be as little as probably like 5 feet would be perfect.
Very inexpensive and very easy solution, man. I love it.
Well, even as the dog's growing, like if you want to take some PVC and make some like little what they call them, like they would look like hurdles, but you put the T's in between and stretch it down and narrow it down and walk them from the outside, just keeping them right in the middle of that.
Within it, right? Keeping them within
Yeah,
it.
because that crab
that
crawler,
too.
it all depends on the pup. Like Donald say, as they get older, I usually look out about maybe 16 weeks and see how they developing. You know what I mean?
Right,
but
right.
like Donald said, usually the dogs that are heavier boned, got more mass on them, they have a little trouble with they're a little weaker. But some of the dogs that right in that middle range, they'll float like probably 7-8 weeks. They already start floating.
Well, sorry I interrupt you because I'm about to bring up your video you sent me on a pup, and I want you to talk me step by step, and the people watching us, of course. But before we do that, I want to let you know that particular part of the episode is being brought on by Infamous, who just became a member. So,
all right, Infamous.
Pues claro que sí, cabrón.
There you go, Infamous, none but love. And Infamous, so you know, and I'm sure you already know, as a member, we're going to answer all member questions before we're done with this live. Without further ado, go ahead, Hollywood.
He upgraded as well. So,
hey, y'all already know. And I can tell you, this weekend, me and Donald, we had a good talk. Mike couldn't make it down. It's understandable. It's all good, man. We're gonna make it up somehow. But all I can tell you is a lot of the stuff I'm getting from them, I'm meshing it together with mine, and it's just straight up dynamite. Without further ado, let me bring up this video. Mike, talk me through it.
So you just look at the arm separation in the front and how the dog is reaching. You can actually see a little flick on after each step.
Yes.
There's gonna be a video. It's gonna come in after this.
Okay.
Where you actually be able to see the gait. So this right here, right here, so
that pop in the front step.
There you go.
Ooh.
Pop in the front step. Look how high the head is.
Yes.
The head is up. So we're looking at the confidence in the dog, how he's driving in the front, that elliptical movement, and then the rear. Now on these young puppies, you're gonna get the switch hips. They shaking their hips side to side, but that's gonna come together as they get older, and as you walk them, you're gonna build that strength in the rear.
Okay. Right here, when he's walking, does the top line, let me stop him right there. I just want to ask you. One of the things I look for as far as balancing the gait, I just want to kind of cross-reference with you. You tell me what you see. If you notice, his front right paw is up in the air about a quarter of the ways, and the back left paw, right, is almost in conjunction with it. Is this how you normally want the gait to be, or do you want them to raise the paws on the same side? So what is it that you want, that you're looking for?
I'm looking for the paws on the same side. It's just they're younger. He's not at a gait speed, even though he's at a good speed. he's not at gate speed. So you have to understand where you go from a walk to a gate to a run.
Yes.
You know, like usually we used to take them like right before the run.
Yeah.
Okay.
But like you said on that top line, though, we're looking to make sure that rear ain't bouncing like this in the back. Even though, say you could have an even top line, just making sure that top line not doing this in the back.
So I wanted to ask you that. Can the top line let us know if they're pulling from the front or pushing too much from the back?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know that there's a way to really train that out of them other than our method has always been to just have them where they're not looking tired and sluggish, so more like a conditioning.
There you go.
But trying to decide how a pup is just naturally moving is, you know, I've always just seen it as a thing of beauty. You know, it wasn't paw kicking out. You know, I like to see it real symmetrical in the back, you know, not acting independently. You know, one leg's going out, one leg's churning nicely.
Okay.
You know, that top line on him looks real good. And the confidence has so much to do with how they're going to walk, because if you can get a dog to hold his head up, he walks a lot better than
when the head is there.
Because it moves his joints out, elbows aren't under him.
Yeah.
We saw it in the bully stack off back in the days when we were doing it. Some dogs, when they had the head down, the rear would come up immediately. When they raised the head, everything was fine. So I agree with you 100% on that. We have a question from Mark Whitehead. He's asking, at what age are dog flaws locked in? Now, Mike, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry. You didn't finish your question.
Well, we were just talking about when do you start taking, the movement seriously? You had mentioned about at 16 weeks.
Yeah.
When do you feel the flaws are actually locked in to where you're not necessarily going to be able to fix anything?
Now, that flaw, it just depends on the seriousness of the flaw. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like there are minor flaws that you know the dog gonna grow out. Say if you have a dog with a little slight high rear,
right?
A lot of times what I've seen with our dogs, the hip muscles get bigger and spread out.
Yes.
And that top line, man, fall right in like where it's supposed
right
to.
down. Yes. It
gives
like a spring. It gives more like it's like a spring. I don't know. It gives that type of illusion.
Yeah.
Like you put in some springs in there or something. I get exactly what you're saying. I will say the rear, typically when I see that you talked about, Mike, now mind you, I'm breeding XLs. Mike is breeding pockets. I typically see that spring action come in. If it's a female, it's typically by her third heat. It could be anywhere between 20 and 24 months. In males, I could see it as early as sometimes 18 months, but usually it could take up to 20, 22 months for me to see those accessory muscles in the rear, tighten that hip out and create that suspension effect, if you will, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you find that rear is pretty much the last thing you're waiting on to develop?
Yeah. So now a flaw that lock in like an underbite, like that's something that's going if after 16 weeks, depending on how deep the underbite, if it's over a quarter inch,
right, that
flaw is there. It's not going to change. I don't care how much. I don't care how much the head grow. It may come in a little bit, but it'll still be out of. That's not going to fit. So you just gotta.
Have you ever dealt with an underbite that's say at a 1 millimeter?
1 millimeter?
Yeah, 1 millimeter off, and it's an underbite.
Yep. I don't know. Remember what dog? I mean, we probably got about 30 dogs by now, and that we got to watch grow.
Yeah, we've had a handful that were slightly under, and we just did a lot of praying, and they stayed the same, being slightly under, which is, I think it surprised you more grand champions are slightly under. But I'm talking about nearly touching and
that type of underbite where it just.
Yeah, I'm talking about the 1 millimeter, right? I'm talking about the smallest of margins, just about.
And that don't. I'm not even worried. I I mean, it's a minor flaw. Yeah, it's not gonna hold you back in the ring unless you're tied up and that's the only thing is the bite. Then you'll lose. But underbite like that the teeth are touching, I'm not too worried about that.
Okay, fair enough. We got Adam Fields with a question, and I think it's a little complicated. His question. He's saying, with the height difference of our breed, I guess of our different classes, how do we bring it together and make the breed consistent as a whole? And I think personally, you would have to do away with classes first and foremost if this was to be answered the way you're asking, Adam Fields, because the fact that you have classes, you're never going to be able to bring it together as a whole. It's been divided. It's been chopped up.
Yeah. But I enjoy pockets, and we love standards too.
Right.
So, like, I will always create. So you have to change the community. Told it, like you said, like do away with classes, do away with dogs. You know what I mean? I can't see it. Right. My favorite dog is probably the pocket, like a tall pocket, about 16 inches.
Yeah.
Right.
About 90 pounds, 90 pounds, 16, 95. But you know what I mean? And then you talk about a standard like Tugboat, you know what I mean? Got to have a huge head. To look how do you say that? They look balanced.
Symmetrical. Yeah, symmetrical balance.
Symmetrical. Just a taller dog, 18 inches, 105 pounds. You know what I mean? So I couldn't.
To me, I will say this, man. I've known German Shepherd breeders. I've seen some of their productions. Don't think that all German Shepherds, even though their coloration and markings are very similar, don't think for a minute that they're all the same height and they're all the same weight, because nothing can be further from the truth. I've seen Rottweilers that I've had to do a second take, and I'm like, how the hell is that a Rottweiler? It's just not. It's not stocky. It's not bulky. No. It's it may be a working line Rottweiler. Maybe that's what I attribute to, because it just doesn't look like it. But I think you bring up a valid point with what we were mentioning earlier, as far as the time frames and the hips. Guys, in this particular breed, if you have a slight high rear at say 16 weeks, don't run for the hills. All right. Mm-hmm. It's not atypical. It's actually a common thing. The rear bones are going to grow a little bit faster than the front. As long as it's slight, right? If it's significantly different, then you might have another problem in your hands, right?
Yeah.
Go ahead. Flaw that you go that I see right away is the short arms.
Short arms, yeah.
Short arms in the front. You know what I mean? That's not gonna fix.
Another thing that can cause a high rear or even a slight high rear is if the dog or the pup is too heavy up front. Big head, big shoulders will drop the pasterns. That quarter inch you're dropping in the front, and as you go, Let me see if I have something here that I can show. Yeah, the further down, so the longer the back the dog has, the more high rear he or she's going to show, right? So This is a dog. He's too heavy in the front. Look what happens to the rear. It gives the illusion that you have a high rear, but you really don't. What you have is some weak pasterns or pasterns that just can't support the weight at that time. That's why I mentioned time and time again how important it is to keep your dogs light, which it's kind of contradictory now that I have some pockets and standards in my yard. I can tell you Gaines, when I say Gaines, I mean both of them, Mike and Donald. I can tell you little Oreo, bro, ain't no way. If she's ever skinny, there's something wrong.
Right. Yeah.
It's just that's just her body type. And you're just not going to be able to, undo that. It's easier, I want to say, with XLs because of the longer limbs. So it's easier to kind of manage that. Whereas what I'm seeing with the pockets, it's a bit tougher, man. You don't want a skinny pocket. It just doesn't look right. Right? No. Yeah.
You just, I mean, if you're looking at your dog and you just managing your dog's weight, I mean, you'll see where they're too heavy and they can't carry the weight. And me and Don talk about it all the time.
Yes.
Don, what does this look like, man? Does it look like it's carrying his weight, or does it look like it's struggling?
Yeah. Are we
too heavy?
Overburdening that dog at a young age?
Mm-hmm.
Right. And you'll see the dog overcompensating, whether in the rear or in the front. And one thing you just said about this pup we just showed, let me bring him back up. And you guys, if you notice, look at the front paws. Let me rewind it a little bit. He's going to come up here in a second. Look at that. Look, I'll see if I can. You look at that pop. You see that little slight pop at the end, and he's coming down on the pads.
Yeah.
Right. This is one way you know that pup is balanced, in my opinion, considering that if it was a front wheel drive or if it was pulling from the front, first of all, you're going to see bigger shoulders and chest and all that. But in addition, instead of having the pop, you're almost going to see him reaching and pulling, right? Reaching and pulling. Whereas if he was being pushed by the rear, you, instead of seeing a pop, what you're going to see is a longer lift of the paw. Kind of like when you're walking downhill, when a pup is walking downhill, it kind of keeps the paw in the air a little bit longer so it could hit. Mm-hmm. That's the illusion I get when they're rear wheel drive. In other words, the rear is the one that's doing all the work. They're going to see at a very young age a lot more development in the rear. Why is it? Well, they're developing at that age very fast, and whatever mechanics or biomechanics they need to move, that's what's going to be mostly developed. Right. I mean, it's really that simple.
You notice too, he looked like a Chinese soldier marching in the front.
Yes. Yeah. Let me bring him back on here again so you can see. Yeah. Look, he's like, stop.
Yeah.
Now you did say you wanted the right paw, the right front, and the right back to go together at the same time. I get that. Yeah. But he's well balanced. Top line is straight. And the back paws and front paws are in rhythm, in cadence, hitting the ground at the same time.
Notice his rear left, how he has it in the 90 going up. Oh.
Right, I'm going to bring it forward again. There you go.
So look at it's in the 90 when he brings them up. He's cycling them. You see?
Yeah.
It's going to the 90.
Yeah, look at that 90. Look at the left back leg. Right? Look at the hop. Yeah.
The hop.
It's right at 90. Yeah.
Now watch when you come around. There you go. He slowed down a little bit, but you see, okay, he slowed down a little bit. I think we got another video of him moving around.
So let me ask you this, because we're showing what a balanced pup is looking like. You just mentioned short arms.
Yes.
What is the tall tail that a dog is born genetically with shorter arms? What is the thing that tells you that hey, this dog has shorter arms? Is it just a high rear, or do you see him working a lot more in the front, and it throws everything out of sequence with the back legs?
Yeah, that's later down the road. I think first thing I look for is short arms. when they come out the womb, man, I'm looking for short arms, man.
Yeah. We always say, man, we're looking for cankles. We're looking for not a little like a bird, a newborn bird, but man, we want it thick and
all the way down to the little pad.
Yeah, we like
it. It comes up like a baseball bat.
Yeah, genetically strong pasterns. That. Yeah. Adam was talking earlier about the breed coming together. You take any dog that's as tall as a big XL and a standard and a pocket, you get less angulation with the pockets, but you're trading that for a little more girth. And to try to get the exact same dog in all three of them classes is, they're really different animals. So I kind of look at the standards and love the standards and love to go to nationals and see the battle for nationals, and you see all the similarities in especially the rear locomotive type movement, and nearly all the grand champions are going to be solid the rear movement.
Would you dare to say, I would dare to say, but I just want to know what your take is on it. Would you dare to say that each particular class, it has its own gene pool within itself?
Yeah, I think I think so. Yeah. You're gonna have the XL probably isn't gonna might be able to get away without a short muzzle gene, but
look at you, Donald. I've been rubbing off.
He on the genetics, man.
Man, 2 ears, one mouth.
He's starting to get it. I love it. Listen, we have a question from Old Firm. He was down here this weekend with us. He says, my question is, at what length is too long or even too short considering the height? How long is perfect? Is there such a thing as too short of a back? So how do you know the length of the legs are too long or too short? Let me comment on the long part because I deal with XLs and I see this all the time. When you bring a dog up, right, to stack in front of you, this is why we call the H-frame for a reason. And that is, let me see if I can bring one of my dogs up so you can see what I'm talking about here. I'll bring up 305. I'll bring up Fireball, and then we'll bring up 305. All right, so let me just show you something here real quick. One of the ways I consider the legs to be too long is if you look at Fireball and you look at his H-frame, if you look at his legs and you take the inside of the chest, that's a perfect square. The way you know that the legs are too long is when you have a rectangle and it's not a square. That's how I am able to see it. I'm going to bring up a taller dog. I'm going to bring up 305. Unfortunately, he's not as well stacked in that picture as maybe I would want. So let me bring up another of my taller dogs, Congo. Okay, Congo's got a slight east-west, right? When you look at this picture, by the way, Congo's only 1.5 years in this picture. If you were to look at him now, you will notice he's widened out a little bit. In this particular picture, I see a rectangle. I don't see a square, right? But you also have to take into consideration how old is the dog. So if you have a rectangle like this, right, at 12 months, don't go running for the hills. Just give the dog another 1.5 years, let him widen out. And that's how you see that rectangle go from a rectangle to a square. Okay. For you guys in the pocket and standard and classic class, what do you look for? What determines whether the limbs are too long or too short for you?
Now the shorter pockets are harder to determine. It just depends on like what he's talking about. But the classic and the standard are a lot easier to identify. But if the dog you're looking at the dog and it's not symmetrical to you, like something seems off, that's it. You look at it, it's not symmetrical. Then you're like, oh, he's too long. You're gonna know. If the dog back, if he's too short, your movement is going to be restricted, and you might have stiffer stifles with a shorter back dog. Now, if you look at it from the front, just like you showed 305, we talk about short leg dogs. You'll have less leg here on a pocket. You'll have that H-frame, but then you have this much body. You know what I mean?
Right.
Or a head that's that big.
Could it be possible that the legs are so short that rather than having a rectangle going up, you have a rectangle going
that way?
Yeah. So then you're no longer symmetrical at that point, and you're unbalanced.
So the pockets, you want them wide. Like if you want an extreme, you want them wide as they are tall.
Right. But he's not talking about extreme. The question is kind of aiming more at symmetry because he's asking what is too long and what is too short. Now, you want extreme, obviously. That everything we just spoke about goes out the window because now you're looking for extreme features, right?
Right. But you're right. It don't matter the height of the dog. You can look at it. If it looks symmetrical to your eye, pleasing to your eye, you're automatically going to identify whether it's too long or too short.
Or like when I first started out, when I would see a dog and there was something off, there's something off. I know there is. he looks good and everything, but there's just something. Let me keep looking at him and I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Right? We got Infamous saying, can you explain how I can tell if a dog has a roachback? I'm gonna let y'all
you look at a picture of a bulldog and a Frenchie, and kind of the difference in those two is a Frenchie has a roachback, little curve, and a bulldog will be a more straighter,
flat.
Yeah.
I got Hollywood waving me down. What you got, Hollywood?
Oh, I was going to tell you before you moved on, I was going to show you something funny real quick and tell you that this is too short.
Okay.
Here you go.
Oh,
all right.
Oh, it go long and short right there,
But he's
man.
got nice rear angulation. He's got good rear.
We got crazy rear angulation right there.
Yeah. I would look at that and I say, man, the rectangles are all over the place, man.
Yeah,
And that's too short. That's
and the one next to him at the bottom had too long of a back. I get it.
There you go.
I get it.
Hollywood.
Basically, roachback, you're going to get a slight curvature coming in. And, Donald is talking about the Frenchies, but in our world, that roachback typically is coming more from the pitch side, right?
Yeah.
Whereas Bulldog is just going to be more of a flat a look to it. We got Michael Higginson. Money Mike was down here this weekend as well, and he's asking how big of a threat is it when you're bringing breed type up from a smaller class to an XL that you would have dwarfism in either the front or the back, and how can you make sure it doesn't happen? Now, I think this question, guys, you're free to answer, but I think it's more aimed at me only because he's dealing with the XL class. And one of the ways, Mike, that you stop something like this from happening is there's a 2-inch rule. When I first came into this breed, I was told, don't ever go further than 2 inches if you don't have to. Okay. And again, that's I don't have a book or there's not a theorist out there. It's just a rule of thumb. Try not to go more than 2 inches because you could get that funny car look where you get the dad was a pocket, mom is an XL, and you have a front of a pocket and a rear of an XL. Now you have a funny looking dog that you might have to cool. So, or soft cool, whichever. My whole point is that's how you get away from it. Now, dwarfism, it will be more prevalent with the pockets and more than anything with the pockets and or below. And one of the things you will see in a dog that is showing dwarfism is going to be the front pasterns, right? You have the radial tendon, which is going to be on your thumb side, and you have the ulnar tendon, which is going to be on your pinky side. What ends up happening is the ulnar tendon actually becomes shorter than the radial tendon. And so that's when you have the little dogs, their little pockets and whatnot, they stand, and no matter what they do, you're going to have east-west at the very bottom. That's a sign. Also, the thickening of the femur, over thickening of the bone itself is another feature of dwarfism, because obviously the thicker you go, the length is going to shorten. Anything else you guys want to add on dwarfism, guys? Have you ever had to deal with it? Have you ever seen it? Have you ever had to help somebody fix it?
No, you're right on there. We had that same 2-inch rule, maybe 3 inches. Matter of fact, we just bred Bad Betty, who's 15 inches to 18-inch dog. Every one of them puppies are good.
Yeah.
Not an issue. You know what I mean? So you breed an 18-inch dog or 17-inch dog to XL, I don't think you have, especially genetically. You look at it, 2 symmetrical dogs. I don't think you're gonna have that issue.
I will say this too, man. I started 9 years ago, and 9 years ago, I will say the gene pool overall, man, I'm talking about the whole shebang bang, was not as stable as we're seeing now.
Mm-hmm.
You still have some differences. The old blood is still coming in with the new blood. Okay. But we were talking about it this weekend. I feel that breed type these last 5 years has advanced at a much faster pace than it did the 10 years prior. You know, when I came in, you know, long-legged, mastiff-looking dogs, you know, people were going ape crap over it. Right now, you show up with one of them pretty much cane corso with a bully head, and people are going to run away from you. I mean, it's just, and it's a good thing. It means that the volatility that was there is there no longer. There's more stability, and we're slowly grinding and getting to where we need to be getting to. We have Adam Fields asking, do you think the AKC will ever recognize our breed?
No,
I can't see it happening.
Now you talk about total different crowd with AKC versus American Bully crowd.
I agree. And the shows. What about the shows? I mean, the AKC is very sterile.
Yes.
For the occasional clapping, it's pretty sterile environment, much like the UKC. ABKC sometimes, man, is borderline circus because you got these. You got booths that come up to pretty much to the show ring. I had a scenario once, for example, where 305 was in the ring and we couldn't prove it. We thought it was purposeful. Somebody dropped a chair on the floor and the dog got spooked. You know, and we're like, you know, me and the handler were looking at each other and you know, something like that would never happen in the AKC. Because of the sterile environment and whatnot. Right. Hold on. We got Hollywood active today, man. Hey, Hollywood running it. What's up, Hollywood?
Wait, the AKC versus the other registries as?
Yes.
Look at it as the royal family versus I mean, every time you go to AKC or see AKC show, what does it look like? They're wearing these hats and they're like putting on a prestige show. It's like the royal family. You know?
Right.
You know, I really would like to see us clean it up a little bit, but I would never want to see us to that point.
That scale.
The culture around the American Bully must remain what it is. If we ever lose that, I think we lose the breed.
I don't ever see them letting this culture go that far.
No,
I like seeing that it's structured enough that you can bring the family in and you know, you don't feel the need that the family being corrupted so much, but I think that the AKC brings, if you love you know, that's somebody's cup of tea, you know, that's great. And when some cross over to the AKC with some of the bully breeds that are accepted, we're really rooting for them because them still our people, you know.
Right.
But it's a little stuffy. I don't get as much out of it. You know, we've been to a few AKC shows and showing our French Bulldog in the AKC, but I don't get the same vibe as I do at the ABKC particularly.
Look, and you know, I've been critical of the ABKC and it's got its faults, and I'm the first one to call it out. But I will say, the American Bully, and I'm going to name the ABKC on this one because it's the first one that recognized the American Bully, has created a culture within itself that, look, if you were to ask me, is the AKC ever going to recognize this? My answer is no. But at the same time, we don't care.
Right.
Yeah.
We don't want to be part of that.
Yeah. Right.
We don't want to be part of that. Why? Because it's gonna, you know, we're gonna need handlers to walk in there like it's just that's not us. That's not who we are. We identify with something that's completely different. So, you know, if I got to give the ABKC its flowers, I got to give it on that. Our own environment, our own culture. When nobody was recognizing us, the ABKC stepped up, recognized, and the culture around our breed, it makes it what it is. I mean, that's how it goes, I think. Also, when in front wheel, the back will stick out a little to the left or the right as they run.
Crab crawl.
If they're sticking out to the left or the right, You may want to do what the gentleman here to my right were saying, and that's have a gutter with some sort of rug underneath. But if that doesn't fix, then you have to take into consideration if the parents actually have cowhawks. You know, there's one of the reasons why you don't want to buy a pup from, say, a female that's cowhawked, especially not if the female and the dad are cowhawked, because it is genetic. Does it affect the dog functionally? No, not at all. However, in the ring, it's going to hurt you. What is a cowhawk considered in the ring, guys?
What do you mean, far as fault?
As fault. Is it a full fault? Is it a minor fault?
No, it's well, it depends on how bad the cowhawk is, but normally it's just a fault. Yeah, it's just a fault. Yeah, okay. not a major fault. Now if it's turned all the way out, I mean, you know, like I said, you know, major and what's it's just because we've been shown we know the difference between a major and a minor.
Right.
Yeah, and when I say I like to see the back feet doing the same thing, that's all looking at as a gait, because some of the best gaiters, you know, you throw a ball out for them,
they're gonna
leg kicking out on one side, not the other. So they're not necessarily all, you know, a bully dog is not going to run like a greyhound. And you know, it kind of just evaluating the beauty of it. You know, we don't have the best moving dogs compared to some other breeds,
right?
But you know, they still have to be functional.
Does he got the video of Bad Betty at Nationals?
Hollywood, do me a favor, bring up the video of Bad Betty at Nationals. Oh, I got him. My bad. Yeah, okay. Hollywood giving me the finger, man. You pointing at me. So Bad Betty at Nationals. Would it be this one right here? Let me open it up.
One with that is. Yeah, that's her. That's Bad Betty right there.
A little bit smaller, bitch. Real solid though, real tight.
Look at that top line.
Real well conditioned
right now. Watch when she get in her gait, shape, right? So shape. You notice, look the same side, right? Now when he picks her up, in speed, you're gonna see some crazy movement.
Okay. This bitch is in phenomenal condition, actually.
Now watch as she gets around here. Now she's gonna get in her gait. Look at this.
Amazing rear.
That rear.
This is a clean bitch. That is a bad. All right, man.
So on here now, Betty, if you throw a ball to her, them feet is coming out like this.
The back one.
The back one. So it's 1 feet of kick out. But when she had a gait speed or just a normal little trot or run,
it tightens up.
It tightens up. But if she's driving off them back feet and really driving, because creating distance, you know, the feet go out.
Now, would you say that Bad Betty is more pushes more off the rear? I want to say yes because of the side of the rear.
Yeah. Now she's a little bit smaller. A little bit smaller, bitch.
She actually floats. So watch this.
Real
when she getting the gate
right now. She's in good shape.
It's just because she got a strong rear.
Yeah, she has
champion males to be in the holding area.
Little
in phenomenal condition.
She's not as balanced up front. That rear is just a massive rear.
Yeah,
amazing.
You can't tell in the video, but if you see a person, that's a big rear. That's a big guy right there.
All right, man.
Yeah, no, I've seen her rear in person. I have her daughter as well. She got a big old booty, and it's just big, like. Yeah. And it's because the functionality is coming from there. Mm-hmm. And there's nothing wrong with pushing off the rear, guys. If my memory doesn't mistake me, I believe the breed standard says it needs to be pushing off of the rear. If you guys remember otherwise, please correct me, but I believe that's what the breed standard says. Let's see. Hold on. I have a different back lengths in 2 littermate sisters. The one who is a little longer has a correct gait, but I would not say she has a long back. Short back females bullier, but gait is not as good.
Yeah.
They were just talking about the rear angulation on a shorter back. Is usually, it's not necessary. I don't want to say it's not necessary. Mechanically, it's more difficult because you don't have you don't have to step too much forward or push too much back where that stifle is going to show, right? I would think. I'm just trying to picture it in my mind. If the back is shorter, then the functionality of those back legs are not going to be the same if you have a medium-sized dog, right? You got more weight to push, and there's going to be more leverage.
I'm going to send you a video of a female we got co-owned, a Bad Betty daughter.
Okay.
And it's going to give that exact example. She's a bullier type dog, so she got less range of motion.
Right.
You know what I mean? So she got the bullier walk. But we was at a show. I'm gonna send it to you. We can keep going.
Okay. Good deal. Dior. Oh, by the way, Dior is asking you guys if you have anything on the ground. He says, I need a pocket mail, or is your pups for sale? And I hope, Dior, you're not asking for me, because all the pups I just got, I'm letting you know they're not going anywhere. That's breed stock. I don't know, Donald, Mike, y'all have anything on the ground right now?
Not a thing.
You know what? We do have a friend that got pockets. You need a pocket mail?
Yeah.
Tell him.
Let him know how you can get in contact with you through either Facebook or any other your social media. So
it's Mike Green on Facebook. You can message me there if you're looking for a pocket mail. I think they go anywhere from $2,000 to $2,500, and they pretty nice. Okay, there you have it. Insaratha saying, I have recently been seeing very long backs in some XLs that look too long. Look, I've been seeing that too, but I will say, Insaratha, you must know the dog's age. For example, I recently had Macho here in my yard. I've since moved him. He's now been co-owned. Macho will give you the illusion he's got a long back. Macho's 4 months old. Like, we're not going to have the long back conversation until Macho's at least, I want to say, somewhere around 24 months old, guys. Otherwise, we're jumping the gun. Symmetry is key, says Adam Fields. I want an Excel that makes me look short in pictures. So, man, he's laughing out loud with Hollywood. Hollywood's cracking up here in the back. Furman saying, I would say within an inch either way of how tall they are to how long they are should be the same. And yes, if you're looking for symmetry, that you're accurate in your assertion. You'll be able to see it. You'll be able to see it with your eye, fam. Yep. You'll be able to see it with your eye. You know if it's too short or too long. Yeah, we have Kyle saying, Adam, don't worry. It won't take much for me or you to look short next to a dog, man. back and forth going on. And Sarata saying the female with shorter back is same length from wither to tail as height to withers. The other's back is like an inch or so longer. Wow. So the back is that short that the length is from wither to tail is the same as the height. I would say the back at that point is too short. You're going to have some functionality issues because the range of motion, they don't have to move much to be able to move because the back is just that much more short. You're not allowing that stifle to completely engage and then completely release. It doesn't have to. Let's see. Does dwarf show in DNA? Asking for a friend. Furman Broom. What? Does dwarfism show up on Embark? I want to say, believe it or not, I did have somebody hit me up one time, even though I don't do pockets, and there was something that had to do with dwarfism, but I don't know if all the markers are going to hit. Be right. I'll be okay. I'm just not sure on that one. Adam Fields is saying, with the female male class being different in height by an inch, I would say 3 inches for XLs. Yeah, I mean, guys, it all comes down to what you're dealing with. If you have, say, a standard or better yet, a classic that doesn't have enough mass
and it seems like the length of the limbs, even though it's a classic, may be a little bit too longer. In other words, you don't have the perfect square. You have barely a slight rectangle. Don't take that to an XL, man, because that XL is just going to stretch that limb even further. You're not going to fix things. If you want to fix your XL's rectangle, I'm letting you know right now, that rectangle needs a shorter dog with a strong square in it, preferably with a higher koi, cleaner up front. We're alluding to it earlier as well. When a dog has a stronger rear, and you just heard Mike talking about Bad Betty, where when you look at Bad Betty, the one thing that sticks out is her rear to you. She's got more musculature, more mass, more everything in the rear than she has in the front because she needs that rear to push her forward. Now, I'm saying all that to say this. If you have a dog that is square up front and you're getting ready to take it to that rectangular female who's an XL, right? You also need to look at both of their rears. And you need to figure out if these two dogs are balanced, go for it.
Right.
If the male has a square because all he does is forward wheel drive and he's got nothing in the rear, and your female's the same way, then you don't want to breed that. You're going to overcompensate. You're going to have nothing but front wheel drive. Now you're going to have weak rears. And one of the ways you're going to know that a dog has a weak rear, and I think we were talking about this, Donald, this past weekend, is the rear. Whenever it's time to either run or take off or whatever, the rear will dip. The rear will dip, allowing that front to pull, right? So what's one of the things you guys do if you see a pup, say, with a weaker rear? How do you strengthen that rear? Is there anything we can do to strengthen the rear?
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I think as a general little incline would help the rear, and a little decline would help the front.
Perfect.
It's just like overspeed training, right? Up a hill or down the hill.
So in the XO world, we've always
strengthened the rear. You want to go uphill with the dog, like take him to a
come down slow, briskly up, come down slow.
Yeah.
And that
also too is walking and getting them in gait speed. That's what we do. We train in gait speed for conditioning and strength and conditioning on the dog. So it strengthens the dog's core, right? And that gait speed. So that means you're going to have to brisk walk, the whole time. Now our gaits are a mile. That's how long we gait train, and there's no playing around like I got the dog on the leash. We're gating for a mile, and we're working on the core, the conditioning.
How old before you gate them for a mile? Because I know their bones don't seal until a year and a half. We got moving parts. Right. How old are they before you do that?
So we're talking about a walk, a straight line walk, and even those hills, we talking about a young pup, 6 months, year old. You know what I mean? That you're training. I still get trained older dogs, but now when you're talking like if you like throwing a ball, but now if you're doing flirt pole and spring pole and constant shifting and turning, now that's a bad thing.
Yeah,
right.
Too much.
Yes,
too much. But you can build up. Your dog not going to be conditioned. You build up to that mile. So you may have to start off with a quarter mile, half mile, 3/4 mile.
Yeah, say 200 yards for a 3.5-month-old pup that you were just barely leash training, you know, getting on the leash. But that might be 200 yards. It just all in relation to fun and the dog enjoying it.
Right.
And if he's ready for it, you can tell. You can tell when he's ready for it. If it's like, man, the least bit hard on him, it's too much and he's not ready.
So around my block, we have the front street and the back street, so it's a big old circle, and it's probably like a quarter mile on there. Now, like Don was saying, when we leash train, we let them drag the leash and walking with the big dogs. Big dogs are walking at they're walking at a faster pace. They're not completely at a gate, but when they're on the leash, it's not playtime, it's walk time. So they're walking steady, and that little puppy is running behind him all kind of ways everywhere. And all we doing is just getting that puppy used to that and building up the strength and confidence, because you got dogs barking on fences, you got a lot of noises and different environment, different smells. So we just get in their protection is the bigger dogs, so they try to keep up and stay with them. But like Donald said, like some puppies are heavier, they may get tired on a half a lap. You got to slow down.
I can see it.
They'll let you know.
15 weeks old right now, and I would say she's getting there a little faster than most pups, but she's ready now to have a leash and be able to go and try to gate her maybe like 200 yards.
Yeah.
And I'm already seeing her. I'm catching her gating a lot, and it doesn't look like it's hard on her, and she's ready. And the little 9-week-old, 10-week-old pup I got, he's not ready for anything like that. He just needs petted on and chase her around a little bit,
Right.
But yeah, we far favor that gate training their whole life as opposed to, hey, we're going to go do some sprints. We've just never really we never had any success doing that.
Right.
Somebody gets hurt, somebody about passes out.
I don't like throwing balls. I like if you do short sprints versus walking, that walking is going to be more developing than quick short sprints. Short sprints will build up certain muscles, but that walking is going to really get it.
Yeah, and nearly every dog we got likes to play ball, but we're throwing the balls higher and making them just be excited about it and have fun than we are, run 35, 40 yards and then slow down, and so it's not we try and joint friendly exercise.
Right. There you go.
Well, let me tell you guys, Mike sent me another video of this very beautiful boy. Mike, I want you to go ahead and
oh yeah, Fireball. That's my boy right there.
Talk to me about Fireball.
Fireball right out the gate, man. I like to see that's another thing. Pause, go back.
Okay. Hold on a second.
It's a stack can. You ain't even got to touch this dog. But I want to see his rear. I want you to go back so I can show his rear.
Okay.
So watch when he right here. Watch. Pause it right here. You missed it.
Wait a minute.
Right there.
Yeah.
Now that right there, you're looking at the hawks, right? They're up and down. They're at the 90, but look at the distance between the hawks.
Yes.
Right. So whenever you stacking your dog, you want to make sure that the arm, when they go into it when they're naturally doing it, that width in the front and the back will be the same.
Correct. And that leads us to the question that Adam Fields is asking. What about people overstacking their dogs, making the dogs look wider than what it is?
That's just somebody who's not trained or somebody try to hide flaws on the dog. They may have a high rear and you have to overstack it.
Yeah.
But what'll happen, the gate gonna tell on it. That's why you walk the dog down and back and around.
Great.
That gate gonna tell on you. So you can overstack the dog if you want.
Yeah.
Now for pictures, that's different. If you just out taking pictures and not showing dogs, you can take some great pictures with an overstacked dog. Showing the front or quarter front. You take some great pictures. But as far as if you're showing it, I guess that would be the reason why you're overstacking is to try to hide that high rear.
Yeah.
Let me bring Kyle in. What you got, Kyle?
Mike, I think what he's talking about is when people try to make their dogs look wider and it makes it almost barreled or A-frame or
It'll
like
be A-frame. Yeah, but
like this.
There's just somebody without experience and not knowing what the dog is, and it depends on where you're doing the dog at, like what type of registry or if you're doing a fun show. A lot of people at fun shows grab the dogs under the chest and try to get them wide as hell. You know what I mean? Some of them put their elbows out.
Yeah,
but
they look even worse.
It's a complete eyesore, right? Complete eyesore.
If you go on ABKC, you want your dog to fall naturally in all in every stand from front to back.
Yeah, and not every a lot of great dogs are not gonna be that beautiful in the back. He's exceptional in his feet placement in the back.
Well, I'm going to keep playing this, and I want you to tell me if he's a forward wheel drive, rear wheel, or 4x4. Let me know.
He a 4x4. You don't have to tell me. He pretty balanced. He got he got weight distribution on all four.
Yeah, that's what I figured. But
yeah.
You can definitely see. You can see his legs, shoulders paddling underneath him, so he's not foregoing his front. I know that.
Yeah. So this thing about what I like. So you gotta have a smart dog, man.
Right.
That's another thing. Like, I mean, you have dogs that aren't as smart. I don't call them dumb dogs, but this dog right here, Raul is filming him while I'm training him. Now he ain't know me about 10 minutes right here.
Yeah,
about 10 minutes right here.
Yeah.
Never worked with him and had him gating around like we're in the ring with no lead. You see that? And stacking with no lead without even touching him. But we did this a couple times and he was locked in. So this is a very intelligent dog, balanced, intelligent dog.
Yeah. Sometimes whenever you talk about a balanced dog, you're talking about how they look, like their head matches their chest, matches their ass. But sometimes you go back to that real word balance is, it's hard. It would be hard to push Fireball over because he's wide in the front. He's wide in the back. He's in a good athletic position naturally. Yeah. And, when like Furman was asking about the overstacked dogs, if they're overstacked in the front, and we're taking pictures, that's one of the uglier pictures that we can take.
Yeah.
I would almost rather see them, at least their chest pops out with their legs too close. But they just totally lose balance when them feet get outside their shoulders.
I agree.
The best we're hoping for is just they take their hands off of them and the dog fixes itself, because it's not comfortable for them to be like that. They won't stay overstacked in the front.
It looks uncomfortable. It looks unnatural. It becomes an eyesore. And anybody that's been doing this for even 6 months knows the person is either uneducated or is just brand new. And they're trying to show it off, but they're showing it off the wrong way. It doesn't look right. It's a rock, but
the only goal is to have your dog be able to be presented like he was in that video right there. Go straight enough, free stack. Be set exactly where you front and back, balance all the way through, and then you have something.
Do you have the little video?
Now a lot of dogs. Which one?
Rosa, me where I ain't doing the best job. Stacks herself.
Yeah. Let me see.
Okay. Yeah, we got a really, really good one of us starting to work with a puppy, and the dog's better at stacking herself than I am, and she keeps fixing herself.
It's funny. It's funny you say that, because this guy right here, I always called him the free stack freak, because honestly, I didn't teach him how to do any of this, man. He does it on his own.
Right. And that's them. So like when we talking about weight distribution, that's part of the stack box. You want the dogs to be able to get used to putting weight on all four. That's gonna give you the strongest look out of the dog. You know what I mean? Like you have some dogs that you can push them in the front and their back feet will come up off the ground.
Yeah, they look like a skier.
Like a skier. But if you can have that same, you're gonna get the best, because the head gonna be way up, the chest gonna be out. He's gonna be balanced on all four. And here you go, right here. I found the video that Donald was talking about. I sent you another video.
Okay.
Why don't you pull that up real quick?
Let me see here. Okay. Let me go ahead and save it and send it over, and then we're gonna go ahead and show it. So I got it here. Let me just upload it, and we'll be showing it here in just a second.
And I got an announcement. I got an announcement after when we get ready to end. But
well, you might as well do it now. That way, you give me a second to upload this.
Well, we went down to Arkansas, and we got a chance to sit down with PBK tomorrow.
Okay.
That video dropping at 6:00, and that's Production Bully Kennels, one word, on YouTube. Y'all check the video out tomorrow, man. That was me and Donald. Donald did the interviewing. I was behind the camera.
Good stuff, man. And let me tell you, I've seen it. And let me tell you, this dude right here, he's doing amazing work along with Donald and PBK. Amazing dogs, amazing interview. Make sure to tune in and check it out. Here's the video we just got. So there you go. Talk to me.
Oh, this is a pocket, right? So you look at that little female there.
Which is the female, the blue or the fawn?
The blue one.
The blue.
She's only 12 months maybe in that, and the other one is Bass Reeves. That's Grand Champion Bass Reeves. But if you look at that pocket there, okay, now she got those tight feet in the front, but her movement just a little restricted. He's more fluid, and she a little bit more restricted, just being the pocket.
It's kind of hard to tell in that angle, though.
There's another video of a try pocket.
Okay.
There's another video of a try pocket. It's the last one. I think it was the last one I sent you. We was actually in a show.
Raul, it's in our group. It's on our
group.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead and download it, Kyle, and then pop it up. I have another video I want to. Huh?
I don't have it on here. That's the only thing.
Oh, here.
Okay.
I'll send it to Raul. Send it to you, Raul.
Okay, so the one you're talking about, is it the bottom one or the one right above it?
The one right above it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
So let me download that
video.
There'd be a gating pocket. Matter of fact, she's a micro.
Yeah, she's probably as small of a pocket as females get.
The smallest you can, yeah.
13 inches.
Okay, so we're uploading it right now. There it is. So let me go ahead and bring it up so I can show you guys. Here you go.
He was talking about movement, and like you see on these pockets, they're gonna be a little stiffer in the rear. They're shorter back. Let's see. Oops, there it is.
Okay, so what's going on? What's going on in the rear and in the front? Talk to me.
Okay, the front, we got everything we need. We don't have the rotation in the rear. She looked like she's pulling off the front because she's so heavy up front.
Yeah. If you notice the rear legs, it's almost like she doesn't get full extension back. Yeah. She doesn't have.
You don't have that bicycle.
She just has to get them. They're more like crutches, to her than.
She's just lifting them in the air, and then the front's pulling.
Right.
That's the
front rear drive.
Okay.
Now you see it in the stack. Let's go ahead and go all the way to the stack.
Okay.
So there she goes.
It's right there. Yeah.
So in the stack, they don't have as much turn on their stack. She got the 90s in the back, and she's naturally doing that. And then this is her first show right here, too, by the way.
And she's young.
And she was young. She was 12 months or something like that.
Okay, so she still had development to do.
Right. So when you're talking about dogs that look too long, a lot of times when I see if the dog is too skinny, they're going to look longer. And as they mature and get older, as they gain weight, they start to look shorter. You know what I mean? Weight on them.
It almost does the same thing with the head in a way. I get people that say, "Oh, the muzzle is too long." Give it some time. That head gets bigger. That muzzle seems to. It's not shortening. Right. It's just that if the head ain't big enough, it's going to make that muzzle look that much longer.
You're right. Yeah. Bass Reeves is a prime example of that one.
We have Mr. Rotha saying, what do you think of the new breed club that has been started? Calls for members to agree to health test and other things. What do you think about a breed club that would start and would require health testing in order for you to register your dogs? What do you think about something like that? Think the community's ready for that?
I mean, not. I don't think the community ready for that right now. I mean, you do your checkups at the vet, but to do like what type of health tests they talking about? Genetic health tests?
Yeah, just genetic health testing.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's gonna go towards that way as people get educated, educated on where it can really help them out at, especially years. But like right now, I don't think like making it a requirement.
Yeah, a requirement kind of, that kind of telling others what to do, you know, and this is kind of free market here.
Well, I mean, it is a registry, so it is optional for you to register or not.
Right.
So it's not telling you what to do in the sense that you could say, no, I'm just not going to register with you. Just the mere fact that it's presenting, in order for you to register with us, you must have this genetic testing. That would be an option.
I think just say if ABKC, a new kennel club, a new registry starting that, I don't think the registry will survive. But just say ABKC said in 2 years, because of these problems we're having here, all dogs are required to be health tested by 2026.
Okay.
And it'll go out good because it's already established registry and they're preventing, you know what I mean?
So let me start some stuff, right? Let me play devil's advocate. Let's keep it real. Right now, we're just talking about grand champions across the board, XLs, standards, classics, pockets. Right now, if you had to guess, if we health tested them all, and we're just looking for the real bad pathologies out there, what percentage do you think would pop up with that? Just throw a number out there.
You know what? I have no idea, man. To be honest with you, not that I don't want to answer it, but I think it'd be pretty low. I don't think it'd be something high.
Really?
Yeah. Only reason why is because when I go back and just say Bad Betty, for example, her great grandparents are living and she's 4 years old. He said higher. When we go to look at some of the dogs that's in that pedigree, great grandparents are still alive. Now, when I go look at other pedigrees, and you know the dad then died at a young age, the grandpa died at a young age. Yeah. You know what I mean? I'm not seeing that. I'm seeing dogs that are 14 years old. Yeah. You know what I mean? That are being used and that or have offspring in the ring. And we talk about 14-year-old dogs that still look at Lucky.
Yeah.
Look at Rocco.
Yeah.
So I'm going to counter. I'm going to counter.
I don't look at. But wait.
I'm going to counter. Look, and I love the fact that the point you made is as valid as it gets. Dogs are living up to 14. Like that's a very valid point. So then my question is, why do we have grand champions out here that will not genetically test? Is it what? Why? Why not? If we got healthy dogs and genetically testing is going to put us on the forefront, why are we not doing it?
I can say too is I'll say a lot of the grand champions not even breeding, but anyway, and then a lot of them don't even have like offspring that they was able to duplicate. You know what I mean? But
okay,
you go to what you're saying. So I don't but when I look in the ring and I look at these dogs, them dogs, I know the lineage because we talk about breeding the show dogs, right?
Right.
Our research is, hey, who's his dad? Who that? Or you hear things like, hey, that dog died at this age. Well, who's he off of? Who's that? What it look like on the bottom side of him? You know what I mean? You start kind of asking questions. So, you know, and you find out the information is there.
And I think
look, I'm playing devil's advocate. And I'm gonna corner you guys just so we can have a little fun, right? So my question to you is: we have a stud that's a grand champion. Let's call him ABC. So we're not pointing the finger at nobody. And ABC is charging $5,000 for a stud fee. Fair enough, right? For a grand champion, right? Okay. And you ask for an embark, and the response is we don't have one. What do you think's going on there? Embark is a $150, $100 test.
If you have a dog that's 5,000, they're required to have they're required to be health tested. If you got five breeding, you got to health test that dog. That grand champion.
Is it parental health testing or is it genetic health testing?
Genetic.
Because parental, so you don't hang papers. We got that, and I'm all for that.
Genetic.
We're talking about genetic. Okay. Right. So you're saying so who's requiring it? The ABKC?
But are they just requiring DNA testing.
Oh, DNA
tested, not just
Yeah,
this
parenting.
DNA test.
Parenting. Right, that's
Yeah.
parenting.
That's
For me
DNA.
personally,
DNA health.
I tell you, Raul, let me try to answer that one.
right.
Depend on who you were mentored by. I've heard the answers against the testing, and it really doesn't hold water right now because they'll say, well, 2 healthy dogs can have unhealthy pups. So why would I wait? But I think the biggest reason is because they always do what they've always done. And they need to just expand their circle a little bit and find out the ease with which, you could just, sometimes if you did it and you attain success one way, you're not going to be able to maintain it like someone is for the long haul without the genetic testing. It's too much easier to just glance at this. And as it becomes easier, and I know we're just starting with the Embark and we've had some of ours for a while, but as we've got to decide we're going to do this for 5 more years, then man, it just doesn't make sense. It's too simple.
Yeah, I don't I don't like to me. I'm looking at dogs, man. You ask how many are health tested or how many dogs are unhealthy that we see.
Well, here's the proposition I'm putting up.
The percentage
well, here's the proposition, right? So you have a popular stud, they're charging $5,000 for him, and I'm asking for an Embark, and the response is he's not embarked. For me, that's straight BS because Embark is only $100 test if you're doing it the first time, $150 if you're just doing one dog. Don't matter. Yeah. You're charging $5,000 a pop and you're studying them out 3 and 4 times a month. You're not going to tell me you haven't done a genetic test. What I'm beginning to think is at that point is you have done a genetic test. You just don't want to show what's possibly there. I
don't think so. And if I was at a stud that we found questionable, right?
Yes.
And the same scenario, hey, can I see an Embark on this dog? And they say we don't have one. It's cool. There's so many other studs out there that we can use. We won't even use that dog. And I don't even. I agree with you. I don't even give it 2 thoughts that all right, he didn't help test the dog. You know what I mean? But if I know, trust me, in the community, there's dogs with known issues that you know about without even health testing. Now, there's people that bred to dogs and automatic run and get their dog's health test. They know where that female's sitting at, and they look at these puppies here, and then they kind of try to narrow it down that way. Yeah. But then when you got multiple breeders that are saying, hey, this is what I got off of that, and they kind of, what they call them cards, the match cards when you flip the skids, like, hey, this, it match up, like, hey, look, hey, this dog over here. That information get kind of passed around. Yeah. But if it was a dog that I was really worried about, I would require a health test. If they can't provide one, then I don't even think about it. They got another stud over here I want to use.
I totally agree. Thoroughbred said we went to an AKC show to support one of our dogs' sire, and we felt super uncomfortable. They looked at us like we wasn't supposed to be there, even though all our dogs and productions are AKC registered. Yeah, if you don't fit their cookie cutter, whatever they're looking for, they may make you feel that way. I mean, I haven't been to an AKC show, but I've heard of that from various people. Adam Fields letting you guys know. Go ahead, my bad.
I think that community really know each other. Like they may have like great grandkids that have competed at the Eukanuba or whatever the Westminster. Yeah. Like this is like lineage, man. We ain't talking about, because you talk about a registry that's 150 years old. We're not talking a new guy walking in, me and Donald walk in. Yeah. And these they don't know our background or our families. Like these people know. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. It's something that's ingrained, and it's been breeding has been ingrained with them for generations and generations. Billy Watton saying, "Bad Betty got a badonkadonk." I love it. I love it.
Hey, she do badonkadonk, man. And she passes them on, man. So all the females
does, man. Where's little Oreo at? So I can show her off and little dunk herself. Here she goes. You can't really see it in that picture, but trust me,
it's there.
It's alive and well.
Still on waiting list for games.
Well, yeah. Mom,
you know we'd always find a dog for you, Adam.
That's it. They want to be on the waiting list for games. Brayman Bull says, when you're talking about matching height to length, is that from head to tail or shoulder to tail? No, it wouldn't be head to tail. It's going to be shoulder to tail. If you go head to tail, you're going to get a longer reading.
With short necks and longer necks, man.
Yeah.
You got dogs. You see, they got they are proportion.
Oh, Adam feels cracking up with Kyle over here. George Barron says, I'm looking for a female pocket. The litter I'm looking at, the dad is 10-inch, mom 14.5. Dad has about half pet exotic in the line. Any thoughts on where pups might land size-wise, guys?
No,
man.
No, they're all over the place.
Yeah.
When you're talking about 10-inch dogs and a history of dogs that are 9 and 10 inches,
yeah,
I can't. You have some that are okay. We bred Bad Betty to a 15.5-inch pocket or 15-inch pocket, and she 15 inches, and we got 12.5, 13-inch dogs, and we have some 15-inch dogs. So.
Yeah. And with the exotic in there, you know, you're bringing that
dwarfism, a whole lot of other stuff.
Yeah.
And talking about dwarfism, Pinnacle, I appreciate you doing the homework. Pinnacle Bully Kennels LLC saying to check dwarfism, and they're right. And Embark, check chondrodysplasia, right? And that's CHR 18FGFR retro gene under other body features under the traits tab. Excellent, Pinnacle. I appreciate you for bringing that up.
I couldn't think of that. Very good.
If you guys want to find and see if your dog has any type of dwarfism, this is what you want to look for right here. All right.
Good stuff.
Just so you know, I looked up on that Embark as well, and it was for different breeds. There's like 5 or 6 different types of dwarfism with those markers, but it was specific to certain breeds.
Right.
And if you see that in your breed, that's definitely something that you really need to look out for because it's not supposed to be there.
Okay. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it, man. We got Mark Whitehead saying, at what age can you tell if you got a champion caliber dog? Donald, Mike, talk to me.
I got it. It don't matter the age. When you take them inside the ring, you're gonna know whether they
you're gonna know. That's right.
You won't know until you put them inside a ring in an environment that's full of smells, full of dogs, strange people. Like if you had socialized them, man, they're gonna clam down. Say you may have socialized them and they kind of just they'll adjust like as you're doing the show. So you got 4 shows in an event,
right?
And if you see improvement after each show where they start to loosen up and all of that, then you're working on something.
Yeah. How about from a structural standpoint? How old from a structural standpoint?
You still won't know until man, they won't feel it develop until they 2.5 years old, 2 years old.
But using the first marker is going to be at 16 weeks old.
Yeah.
At 16 weeks old, you're usually got a good look at them. You know, that it's the best look you've had by far at that age. And then, you know, I first to admit, man, I'm not used to looking at the XL.
Right.
So when I see a 16-week XL,
it's different. It's the 16 weeks, them bones, especially in the rear, are starting to extend. You might want to take a good look at them anywhere between 10 and 12 weeks. That's where you get your snapshot with XLs. Go ahead, Mike. Mike is like in school. He's raising his hand.
So from experience, we champed out Bad Betty. Well, she would have champed out at 7 months. She was 5 points shy.
Right.
We took a 14-hour drive to get them 5 points, but when she turned 8 months, but she'd have been the youngest at that time at ABKC to champ out at 7 months. I mean, what we know now, we probably won't even bring a dog out till, in the 8th or 9th month.
Yeah.
to the 6 to 9 month class. Yeah,
Right.
but we was excited. We just hit the road, man, and you know, we got the fever early because Pearl champed out her first show, and then Betty did pretty good. So really, I would wait until to get them in the ring between the ages of 6 and 9 months.
Okay.
Yeah, and a lot of dogs, like I've heard Mike tell this to people many times. They say, "Well, is this a champion dog?" He's like, "Well, if I got it, it is."
Yeah.
You know, but there's 9 ways to
Right.
up before you know it gets
before
there.
you get it right.
Yeah, before they hand you that paper.
Yeah,
But yeah, you can always tell the good ones pretty early. You know, they're always going to keep getting better.
it's just like just say Mayweather. He had boxing gloves on at 3 years old.
Right.
Okay. Now you can take the same little kid. My little grandkid got boxing gloves 3 years old with no trainer.
Right.
I can't expect him to be a Mayweather when he get Mayweather range. So even with that dog, even if you get that dog, you still got to understand what the standard is and what the standard is in the show ring. Like far as what do you have to do as a handler? You know what I mean? So you got to know the training and handle it. It's a lot to champ a dog. It ain't easy.
Yeah.
And it ain't just you can have that perfect dog, but then not feeding it correctly, over what do you call that? Giving it too much protein, causing people up, no vitamins.
The
vitamins. I mean, it's the coat health. So it's not just how the structure of the dog look.
Yeah.
I mean, you talk about coat health, the fingernails,
the care,
I mean the makeup,
health care.
Yeah. So I walked in the ring and I started eliminating dogs by the way they look overall. So general appearance. I look over and I look around like that dog like he just come out of kennel. That dog like come out the backyard. Oh, that's a house dog right there. That dog look well groomed. Now I'm looking at the handler. That handler right there, I hadn't seen that one before. Don't have that much experience. So it's a process of elimination that I know was between us 3 right here in the ring. You know what I mean? That's who I'm competing against. So automatically just start eliminating, just by that. So
yeah, and a dog can fall apart at 9 months.
There you go.
It can fall apart at.
They can fall apart.
Yeah, and then it's just
that's a good point.
It's luck.
Let's go east to west, but it goes back to that care. If you knew you give them proper care, sometimes you do the best you can, and some dogs are better than others. Some champions are better than other champions.
Right. You got different levels, but if you spending the time with all that training and all that, regardless if he win a ribbon or not, man, you're gonna love that dog.
Yeah,
he's gonna be your little kid there that just didn't make it.
Hey, I couldn't agree with you more on that particular statement. Mark Whitehead is saying, "What are 3 dogs that completely blew you away in the show ring?" I guess that impressed you. I want to think.
Uno is Hangman because man, he act like he was 3-year-old, done 100 breedings, and he was just 10, 11 months old, I think, when we saw him, and it was all attitude, and he just looked like he was gonna play in the part.
You got Hangman. That's one. What else you got?
Well, as far as being impressive, but like a show dog, he's saying now they got some impressive dogs that we just seen that blow you away. Another one is Bowser.
You say Bowser?
Yeah, Hangman and Bowser.
Yeah.
It's man, you got to see them dogs in the ring with their handlers, man.
Oh wow.
And the handler is the same one on both dogs.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
He handling 2 dogs at the same time.
No.
Look, that's the main handler.
Main handler for both the dogs, and so
yeah.
Hell, I'm not gonna throw my dog in there, but we got that same type of connection. Like when you're walking, look at you had showed him. I showed him one time at nationals, and we won our class Fireball. But when you're in the ring, man, that dog got that connection with you, dude.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like doing what he's supposed to do without even like not watching. They're paying attention to you and in sync. Like them dogs are impressive in the ring, man. Betty is another one.
Man, I gotta say,
she's just so happy, so confident, and just bouncing around the ring. But impressive dogs in there is all the big dogs, man. Samson won. That's got to be the craziest dog I ever seen in my life.
Yeah, head wise.
I never seen a dog that big in my life. if y'all don't know how big Samson is, you can put a bowling ball inside his mouth.
Yeah.
Like his mouth comes way over here. Taking a bowling ball or basketball, and he could goddamn put that whole thing in there. It won't be a piece hanging out.
Wow.
His head is probably about like that big, and then his body is just humongous. The bone is like, golly.
That's a big dog. And then you go to little dogs. There's a female named Grand Champion, My Precious.
Ooh,
And she's just so different than anything you've seen in that small of a package. That you'd never forget her if you saw her.
She's the youngest champion ever, and it was the youngest grand champion. But that dog Brianna got is what's her name, was the youngest champion ever.
Okay,
like they champed out at 6 months.
Yeah, My Precious, I think is 8 or 9 months. She was a grand champion.
Yeah,
and that'd be a guess for us, for future references is Roger Stout. And man, he has some really cool looking stuff. We would all love that.
Yeah.
Real quick, we're gonna go through some questions here so we can close it out with a spin. Adam Fields, what do you think about show clubs? What do you think about them?
What is that?
Like a show club, like a group of people that go and show together. What do you think? You think that's a good thing?
It could be.
Yeah. I agree.
It could be, and where it's good at is like you go out. We was in a show club, and you go out and you rent B&Bs together and split costs and everything. Like showing dogs expensive, man. Like it cost us probably, if we took 2 dogs, that'd probably be $1,000.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? That'd be $1,000 weekend that we split.
Yeah.
Now we're taking 4 dogs. That number climbs quick. You're talking about 15 to 2,000.
What is the normal price for each particular show per dog?
$20. ABKC show is $20 per show, and most events have 4 shows.
So that's that. Then you have to pay the handler if you don't handle, which we paid handlers. So that could be from 25 to 50.
Yeah, to 50
a show, and then you have the entry fee. You got to pay for your dog to get in there, and then you. So it's $20 for you, $20 for the dog. Now you can buy a booth that could range from $150 to $400,
right?
But then you got your hotels, your gas, your food, meals. Like it all adds up pretty, especially this time and age.
With the inflation that's going on, man.
I'm not talking about none of that.
We ain't going down that route. Wait a minute. Quick. Do the Biden.
Hey, man. Hey,
I had to. Hey, he dropped out of the race, man. I had to, man.
Okay.
I'm just messing with you guys. Listen, here we go. Adam Fields, how do you correlate koi to longevity of a dog? I'm going to let you guys know right now. A koi that is 5 or higher is considered, by the books, is considered to be high, meaning anything above 5, you will be shortening the dog's lifespan. Okay? That's by the book. But realize there's practice and there's book. There are dogs walking around here with a koi of 30 that have been living for 10 or 12 years. Okay? But by the book, anything above 5 should start hindering health. Okay? That's just the fact. Now, our breed with the infusion of different breeds, in my opinion, kind of changes that. But that's just my opinion. I don't have a way to support that or back it up 100%, man. Let's see here. Eder Briseño saying, every time I ask breeders about DNA testing, they take it like an insult and they think I'm hating on their dogs. Yeah. Unfortunately, they take it that way because they saw something in that genetic test they did that they don't like, that's going to hurt their business. And the minute you ask them for it, it's the one thing that they want to hide. That's what I believe in. And that's my opinion.
I don't.
So why would they take it as an insult?
If they got a dog that is that dog is either not being bred or that dog is dead, is how I feel.
So let's say it's a dog that's actively being bred and I ask you for the embark and you get insulted, or I get insulted. You're asking me, and I have an active dog I'm breeding, and you ask me for the embark and I get insulted. I'm upset at you. I give you that feeling like, why you ask me that? What?
So you had the option to use that. You have that option. It like I don't even care what the breeder, like he said, the breeder feel like it's something. Hey, cool. However you feel. They got other stuff out there that embark. Like, don't waste your time on somebody's feelings. I got one more thing. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say devil's advocate, like Raul's saying. I think they took it as an insult because they're like, "What do you see wrong with my dog? Does he look messed up or something?" Is that what you're trying to say? Why would you ask me that?
Or you're trying to find something wrong with my dog?
Yeah.
And this is so. Here's what we get. Here that dog's a grand champion. He's health checked. He's all of that. But here it is. You'll call, like, who's Bass Reed's mom? Can I see a video of the mom walking? How tall is she? You like window shop, like you're wasting my time. Like, I'm not going. Everything's on my page. You know, if you ask about Bass Reed, you know who his mama and his daddy is.
Exactly. If you're not doing the homework, you really don't. You're wasting my time.
Yeah, and I agree. I just hang up. We're like, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
If everything's on the page, man, you can.
Yeah, as we've started our little breeding standard of our kennel, and we're gonna say we're gonna health check, we're gonna embark our dog. Now we're gonna use a stud. If he's not embarked, there's gonna be a hole in our future testing.
Right.
You see, and now I like what you said, Raul. If you really want to use that dog and say, hey man, would you mind? I'll pay for the embark if you'll do it.
That's perfect.
So if you offered me that and I'm upset,
anybody what the results are.
What happened? What do you think? If you offer me that and I get upset at you, what do you think? Would you think at some point I'm trying to hide something?
No, I'm not even worried about if I say, Raul, hey man, I want to embark Fireball. And you say, oh man, what the hell? I say, hey, Raul, hey, that's cool, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm gonna go somewhere else. We'll take my business somewhere else.
I'm gonna give those watching an idea. And the idea is so that you don't get people defensive, you can say, I offer to pay for the embark and I will sign an NDA, a non-disclosure agreement. Meaning you can't disclose with anybody else except that owner the result of the dog, and then you either choose to use the dog or not. It's up to you, right?
Yeah.
Real quick, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and say Mr. Mark Whitehead. He was hammering away with the questions today. Mark, I'm gonna give you a free spin on the wheel, man, because you just been that active, and so let me just go ahead and bring that up here. And let's see what you're able to get here, man. Here we go. We got, what do we have on here? We have a channel banner, free marketing, 50% on the stud fee of Congo, of Fireball. We got free new vet. We got free hat, free beanie, and a wristband. So here we go. Here we go, man. I'm rooting for you. Land on something good. Oh, spin again. Stop.
Oh,
Man, that wheel has been brutal for these last couple of weeks.
Good questions, man.
But I'm thinking it's due, man. Anytime. Yeah, we've had some good questions. We've had a lot of engagement and interaction. We have one last question over here by Brandon Hatch. Edgar, I feel you, bro. Just trying to get feedback and get crucified for it. Hey, sometimes you get that, but like, for example, how Mike is telling you is, hey, if they shoot back at you, just there's plenty of other studs out there. You don't have to be crucified for it.
One more, hey man, on the dogs that blow me away, Mike said Betty, but I was just waiting for a chance to say, man, Mike and Betty as a combination in the ring and I knew them and watched them all the way, but they got there and it just blow me away.
Hey, and you know what? I haven't seen them in the ring, but I've seen the videos. like the ones that we saw here tonight. And even though it wasn't Mike, just the way she glides in the ring, I know it's Mike's work, man. I've seen it with Fireball, and I've seen it with other dogs when I've been there, where he's put a leash on them and moved them. And
all the stack offs is just that's proof enough. When he comes on the stack off, everybody's legs start shaking.
Yeah. Absolutely, man. But listen, we're gonna cut it off tonight. We actually went a little further than usual, 1 hour 40. For those of you that are not catching us live and catching us on the replay, listen, when you hit a good point, if we hit a good point that answered a question, or you have a question, stop it, go down to the comments, ask the question, and you might get answered. All right. More likely than not, you're going to be getting answered by either myself, or I'll send the question to either Mike or Donald to answer for you. So I'm going to bring up Hollywood. Hollywood, start us up tonight, man.
Also, I wanted to say to Edgar, another point that Mike made is do your research. If you really like that stud, do every bit of research you can. If you can't get that information because it's not there, then ask. That's a good point, Mike. It's your boy Hollywood Holland, your boy in the back of the queue, and we're catching you on the next one.
Woo! Money Mike and Donald Green and Mike Gaines. There you go.
Mike Gaines and Donald Green. Slide it out.
All right, man. Y'all already know we do this every Monday, 8 p.m. CST. It's been Raw from the Q, catching you on the next one.